Welcome to Trade Pro. So I'm going to test the 2-period RSI with the shaft trend cycle 100 times in a row so you can see how it performs. I wouldn't expect anything overwhelming with this test. Someone really wanted me to watch a video on the 2-period RSI strategy and test that 100 times. But when I went in to do that, just the 2-period RSI strategy alone was not good at all. It was barely profitable, basically break even. So I didn't even make that video. So I decided I would try and add in the shaft trend cycle and see if I can make it a little bit better, which things got better based on what I'm seeing. So I'm going to do the 100 tests. I wouldn't expect anything spectacular. And what I'm going to actually be doing for the strategy on this test is just looking for times when the 2-period RSI goes oversold or overbought, meaning above the 95 or below the 5, and then waiting for the signal on the shaft trend cycle to go in that direction, as long as the 200-period EMA is agreeing with the trend direction of the indicators. Okay, so here's a couple examples of setups. So in an uptrend right now above the 200 EMA, we're only going to be looking for longs. So first thing, we're going to spot times when the 2-period RSI goes below the 5 as an oversold signal, and then the shaft trend cycle will be the entry. So here is the first signal for a buy. All right, so that is a buy. I'm going to be doing 2 times risk for the profit target for this test. Then it goes once again oversold right here, so you just wait for the next buy signal from the shaft trend cycle. This one looks like a loss. Yep, that one takes a big hit. And then this one right here, this candle, another buy signal, 2 times risk, and that's a profitable one. And this is a nice uptrend here, so I'm just showing a good clean example sort of chart so you guys can just see how I'm going to be testing this. Okay, so there's another setup, goes oversold here, and then it goes oversold here again, and then you just wait for that next signal from the STC, which happens on this candle right here. Okay, so very, very simple strategy. Again, 2-period RSI did not work well at all by itself, so that's why I've added in the STC just to see what happens. But anyway, I'm going to get into the 100 tests and see how this thing plays out. The results are in after the 100 tests, and I do have an important takeaway from this, even though the results aren't spectacular. That is not the takeaway that I have for this video. So the things I want to talk about are optimization. So when you are going in and testing your strategy, trying to make a really nice optimized system, you need to be noticing what's happening. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of the things, 2 things in particular that I noticed while going through and doing this test that could greatly improve the strategy. So this is what I want you to be thinking about when you're testing a strategy and trying to improve the results for it. So number 1 was that when the profit target was not hit and it was a loss, most of the time, a very significant portion of the trades still went in the favor of the position by a significant amount. All right, so what that means and what that tells me is I could move my stop to break even or take some profit off at 1 times risk, and I'd probably have an extremely high win rate because as I was going through, I noticed a very significant portion of the time where there were losses, it just didn't quite make it to that 2 times risk profit target. So perhaps I could try 1.5, or I could try a 2-step multi-take profit sort of system. Okay, so that's number one thing I noticed and would go in if I wanted to optimize the strategy. I would try that and retest it doing a 2-step take profit or whatever I noticed that I think would make this perform a lot better. The other thing was, when I get a signal on the RSI and then a bit later get a signal from the shaft trend cycle to enter, and the price crosses over the 200 EMA in between those signals, then it's a much less likely chance that it's going to be a winner. And that's because if the price is chopping between the 200 EMA above and below the 200 EMA, it's much more likely that you're in a sort of choppy range, okay? And most likely you're not trending if price is right on the 200 EMA. So when the signal comes where you're getting a signal from the RSI and then the price is crossing up and down over the 200 EMA between the RSI signal and the shaft trend cycle signal, you should not take those positions. So do you get what I'm saying? Here's the takeaway from this. Think about what's happening when you are testing so that you are able to optimize your strategy. This one doesn't do very well, but there's still a takeaway and a lesson for this video. So don't dislike it just because this strategy didn't do very well. You know, go make your strategy fantastic, the best that you can, and use your brain. But anyway, to get into the actual results, you've probably already read them by now or skipped to the end of the video, but we had a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio over the 100 tests. Took 5 months of price data for the 100 signals on the 30-minute time frame. There are 41 winners, 59 losses. The most won in a row was 6, and the most lost in a row was 7. Gain on the account, 23%, probably under 20 after fees or spreads. So, you know, falls right above the bad section, and it falls kind of at the lower end of the moderate to medium range strategies. So it's not that great. It didn't do that well. And as I said, there are many things you can do to optimize a strategy. Watch that strategy optimization video that I have on the channel if you want to know all the steps to take to fully optimize the strategy and make it perform much, much better. But anyway, I'm going to pop this up on the spreadsheet real quick and the video will be over. All right, so here it is on the spreadsheet, and as you can see, it falls pretty low on the spreadsheet. Out of the 35 strategies that have now been tested and added to the spreadsheet, falls in number 22. So kind of mid-tier, lower mid-tier on this. I would definitely be looking up here if I was looking to optimize a strategy and take something forward and really put some work in on it to make it the best it can be. But you know, there's still some good takeaways from this video about how to actually go about optimizing a strategy and what to be thinking about as you go through and test any given strategy. All right, so that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, even though the strategy didn't do very well. But anyway, have a fantastic day. More to come in the near future.